off I go. Keep warm. Another little trip. It's a nice day. It's cloudy, a little cold. Right now it's minus 10 Celsius, which is I'm thinking about 15 degrees Fahrenheit, somewhere around there. But this morning it was minus 14 Celsius, which was really cold. I think that's about, I don't know, 5 or 6 degrees Fahrenheit. And my windows are all frozen, and the nozzles for the windshield wiper fluid were frozen as well. But things are warming up a little bit now. The Jeep's been doing well, which reminds me, my last trip when I was in Newfoundland, there was a lot of noise when I was driving. My front tires, you'll probably notice, my front tires or my front wheels are a little loud, and I was concerned it was the bearings. It wasn't the bearings, it was the struts. And yeah, I had to take the Jeep into the garage, and I pretty well spent about $2,000 because it wasn't just the struts. There's some kind of boot in the front that had to be replaced, and both front and rear rotors and pads, brakes had to be done. So yeah, my wallet was a little lighter, but it needed to be done. It gets me around. You know, it's not going to last forever. I'll probably pick something up later on, but for now, this is doing good for me.
Now if you blink you'll miss it, but there's the Welcome to New Hampshire sign. And although the hills were obscured by clouds, I'd made it to the White Mountain National Forest.
Well, it's definitely winter here. A little cold. Oh, it's a skating rink here. That's not good. Always got to make sure I unplug from the tow vehicle. The trailer will rob the battery of its power. I got to fix that. Propane is on.
To keep rain and snow from going into the chimney cap, I had wrapped a couple of bungee cords around the inside of the intake and exhaust outlets. It seemed to have the desired effect, as no moisture leaked into the camper.
Oof. Time to get warm. Oh, that's so nice. Now I wanted to show you startup, but my hands were like so frozen, I just couldn't do it. Even the camera's frozen. It's a metal camera. I just couldn't do it. I had to get this on as quickly as possible. And it's working fine. Right now I've got it on high, both the fan and the flame.
That red glow at the top is where the heat is captured. It was a long day's drive, so I called it a night early.
Well, it's morning. The first night I've slept with the little heater. Were there any problems? None at all. I mean, just that gentle hiss all night. Temperature right now is about 14 degrees Celsius, which is 55 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not maxed out, it's at the low. I wanted it just around 10 degrees Celsius, and because it's just perfectly comfortable sleeping temperature for me, especially with this big sleeping bag. And yes, I actually did sleep with my clothes on. The logic of that was, I didn't know if there'd be any problems. You know, I mean, this is the first time that I've actually slept with this heater, so I'm not gonna, you know, I'm gonna make sure if I have to make a quick exit, I'm ready to go. So this is how I slept, and very warm, comfortable. Now, I do know, because I heard it, that there was snow last night, and I can't tell how much. We're gonna have to go out and have a look. There is a little bit of condensation between these windows here. I can see it, but nothing's dripping down, and that's the main thing. Oh, how are my gloves? Let's just see. Perfectly dry, which is excellent. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna get up, see what's happening outside. Okay, let's see how much snow we've got. Oh boy. Oh boy. Look at that. Oh yeah. There's snow all right. Let me show you. Trailer has lots of snow. But look at my Jeep. Yeah, well, good thing I brought a shovel. Now, there's one thing I wanted to make sure of, is what happened to the chimney cap, because that's the source of air for the heater. Now, I can't see, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt up this camera and just point it that direction. Looks like it's okay. From what I saw in the viewer, at least, it made a little hole just from the melting the snow around it. But, oh boy. Yeah, I got to do something quick. I got to shovel it off. I've got to get my solar panel up. I should have tilted it, and I didn't, because it's going to be harder to shovel the snow off it. Whew. It's a little cool, but it's not bad. But yeah, a little bit of work to do before I do some exploring today. As I said before, one of the disadvantages of winter camping is ice and snow. Now I was expecting a little bit of snow, but this is getting to be a lot of snow. So far, I would say about 8 to 10 inches has fallen in the last few hours, and I've been pushing it off the top of my camper. But my problem is I want to use the solar panels. I need to recharge or keep my battery recharged, and the solar panel keeps getting covered in snow, so it's not very effective. I'm going to try putting the solar panel up at an angle, see if the snow slides down. It might at least make it easier to clean. I don't know, I got to try something.
I always pack a telescoping ladder on my rear bumper for occasions like this.
Unfortunately, I camped near a pit toilet, which is actually open. Always a good thing. It makes life a little bit easier when nature calls. Now, pit toilets are the same all year round, same principle. However, it's a little bit more of a challenge in the wintertime simply because the seat is so cold. You gotta warm it up. And what I use is my gloves. I sit on my gloves, but I don't do the other thing on my gloves. Sit down, do your dirty deed, but before you even think of getting up, make sure you grab your gloves again, or it's going to be like that lady that lost her cell phone in a pit toilet. I don't want to lose my gloves. Need to keep my hands warm. On another issue, gloves. The reason I had these up here, these here, is they were both soaking wet. They were useless. I just couldn't get good gloves. And one little secret, on the last video, I actually hurt myself. And what I did is I shut the Jeep door on this finger. You can see the mark right there. And then I continued shooting. You know, when I back up in the Jeep in the very first part of the video, and then I roll up the cover on the trailer, that's the time where I actually smashed my finger. And I covered it up with a glove, but it was actually, there's blood pouring down. So now you know, I just faked it. I made it through it. But this finger has been giving me problems. It was numb at the tip, and it's not circulating well because it doesn't warm up. That is the reason I was having problems with gloves, and I had to get some gloves today. I went into town, it's Lincoln, New Hampshire, and I bought these. And I have, nobody's sponsoring me for this, I just went because it's a ski town, right? They had to have good gloves. And I got these, which are Outdoor Research Revolution sensor gloves, and I don't know if you can get them on Amazon. Don't care, but if I find a link for you, I'll put it up. I paid $75 for this. You probably can get them cheap elsewhere, but what I like about them is, first of all, they're vegan. There's no leather, they're synthetic, and they really feel warm. They're waterproof, so I'm not going to get them soaking wet. Same thing that's going to happen that happens to them, and then I'm not going to have to dry them out all the time. Anyway, that's something new I got today. The fails today were my ladder. You know, the telescoping ladder that I put up the side of the trailer, and I needed it today to brush the snow off my solar panel. Well, it broke. Anything that has plastic joints when it's below freezing can be compromised, and I should have known better. So I got to get a new ladder. Will I find one without plastic? Probably not, but you know, I need a ladder for things like that. But you know, some things work, and it lasted me 3 years. I guess that's okay, but You don't want a ladder breaking in the middle of winter, especially when you're up it. There's got to be something better. Well, the snow's subsided a little bit, and it's not really a good day to be out in the roads, so I think I'll just take a little wander instead. Now, any time that I've gone to a campground, especially the ones that I've paid for, I try to give an honest review. And this one is a mix. I'm in Hancock Campground, and it's in the White Mountains National Forest. One really good thing about it is location. It's absolutely gorgeous here, and it's only 6.5 miles from Lincoln, New Hampshire. Small little town, lots of places to get supplies, so that is good. There's enough campsites here. I think it's about 50 or 60, I'm not quite sure. And they are very well spaced, so that's another bonus. Now, as far as facilities, in the wintertime, you really don't get much. There are several toilets spaced around here, but the only one I found that was not locked, that was actually functional, was that one right there. They have toilet paper, there's no water. There were pumps and I tried them. They don't work in the winter time. There has been no host. On the site they said this was a plowed campsite. Well, there's been a lot of snow in the last few days and nobody has come out to plow it. Now, how much did I pay for this? $25 a night, cash, self-register. Is that a good value? No. To be honest, $25, all you get is a spot and a little bit of thin toilet paper. That's not enough. I think it should have been $5, or you know what, in the winter it should have been free. Now in the summertime, $25 would definitely be good value because everything would probably be working. There's wonderful trails all around this area. There's a river right in behind. It is a gorgeous place, but 25 bucks? Nah, sorry. It's a great place for me. It got me out of the resorts, I agree, but I just don't think it's good value. Now, as far as a good deal, these gloves, Outdoor Research, were a good deal. Even though I paid too much for them, they're nice and warm. Whew.
Later on, I decided to brave the roads and see a little bit more of New Hampshire. Even some of the paved roads were still covered with snow, so I was glad I didn't have to tow the trailer through this. Now here's something unique, a snow bomb. It happens when the snow falls off a big tree. Lincoln, New Hampshire is a quaint little ski town, just hard to see in the winter. But when I got to I-93, things cleared up a little.
Now this is one place I had to visit because I've been here before, a long, long time ago. Well, there it is, the Indian Head.
This is a natural formation on the edge of the Pemigewasset Mountain.
In 1978, there's this young kid hitchhiking through New Hampshire and went on this exact same spot and took a picture. And here's the picture I took almost 45 years ago.
Back then, his face seemed so calm. But now, it seems to have war paint ready for battle.
Brings back a lot of memories. Now, besides seeing the Indian Head in the mountain, there's something else very unique about this location. In 1961, Barney and Betty Hill were abducted by aliens.
It's probably the most incredible UFO story of all time. On the night of September 19th, 1961, Betty and Barney Hill were traveling a local road when they encountered a strange craft that hovered above the car. Fearing for their life, they fled, however developed amnesia and could not remember what had happened the last 2 hours. But through hypnosis, they recalled being taken aboard a spaceship and examined by extraterrestrials.
Now, when I was here 45 years ago, that didn't happen to me. But you know what? It's never too late. There's something up there. Take me.
Good luck, Slim. I hope you enjoyed this video. And please check out my others as well.